Ready, Drew? Yep, okay, excellent. Well, good morning everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. Now, hoons in Queensland already know this. We have the strongest, toughest hooning laws in the nation. And today we take the next step. Today we send a very clear message to hoons that if you're going to cut up our roads, we're going to cut up your car. In an MOU that's going to be signed between the Queensland Police Service and the Queensland Fire and Emergency Services, we will be finding confiscated, forfeited cars to the state from hoons will be made available to the Queensland Fire and Emergency Services for road crash rescue practice. And today we will get a very visible example of what that means and what that looks like. This accompanies a very important piece of legislation that we're introducing today, taking the next step when it comes to keeping our roads safe, people on our roads safe, and also holding hoons to account for the destruction that they cause in our communities through their illegal activities. So today we'll be introducing legislation which will introduce a number of new offences. The first will be around creating an offence for someone to be a willing participant in an organised hoon event. So that means being a willing spectator, a willing participant in the hoon activity, or an organiser of the event. And that will be punishable by up to 40 penalty units, which is almost $6,000, or up to 1 year in prison. We'll also be making an offence for someone to be in possession of items which are intended to assist in the commission of a hooning event. So this could be fake number plates, it could be hydraulic jacks, it could be spare wheels. That offence will carry with it an up to 1 year imprisonment or up to 40 penalty units. And in addition, we'll be creating a circumstance of aggravation to deter people from attempting to avoid our very good nation-leading driver deeming owner-onus laws. These are laws where Queensland leads the nation. We were the first to do it. And it treats video footage of hooning as evidence of the hooning and makes the owner of the vehicle liable for that hooning offence unless they can prove otherwise. So we'll be bringing in a circumstance of aggravation that anyone who seeks to defeat those driver deeming owner-onus laws by using false number plates or removing the number plates will have that circumstance of aggravation, which will mean that they will get a more severe penalty. This is all about making our roads safer. It's all about holding hoons to account. It's all about ensuring that our communities are safe places on the road as well as throughout our neighbourhoods. Can I commend the police service and also the fire service for working together on this great initiative? The message to hoons is clear. If you're going to cut up our roads, we're going to cut up your car. I'll now invite Assistant Commissioner Marcus to say something.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning, everybody. Thank you once again for your interest in road safety. We certainly couldn't do this without your help. Can I please open with a very grim acknowledgement to the 271 people that have lost their lives on Queensland roads already this year. And unfortunately, that is 9 more than the same time last year. So I really want to underscore the seriousness of the nature of what we're dealing with here. Everyday people are dying on our roads every day. Part of the issue that we face, we know, is we have hoons, and some of those hoons are extremely organised and very entrenched in their activities. And the legislation that we have asked government for will greatly assist us with the people that do everything they can to avoid being caught in their endeavours. The vehicle that you see behind us today was confiscated by the Queensland government. It's a vehicle that will give you a package of footage. It was used in part in a gender reveal last year. That's where the owner of the car put tyres on the car to go a particular colour when they did a burnout, which he did. The burnout was so significant that you couldn't see the road in any direction for about 100 metres. Fortunately for us, another member of the community drove past, had dash cam footage. The legislation we have called reverse onus legislation, which deems that you as the registered owner of the car are responsible for the car in a hooning event, identified the driver. That driver was jailed, the vehicle was confiscated, and today we're going to cut it up in front of you. It's a desirable car if you're in the hooning community, but it is the type of car that if we were to simply on-sell it to recover the towing fees, would simply be bought by another person to be used for hooning activities, which defeats the purpose. Right around Australia, and certainly in Queensland, every day, police and firefighters are side by side at road accidents trying to save people's lives. We are going to use the cars that we confiscate to train the next generation of firefighters in making the roads safer for people who become in road crashes. I'll be happy to take some questions at the end, please. Commissioner?
Thank you, everyone, and good morning. Thank you for being here today for what really is an important event for us, strengthening those offences around hooning. Ben touched on it, but for us as emergency services workers, one of the most difficult events that you can go to is road crash, where many people have lost their lives. It's traumatic. It's traumatic for officers, it's traumatic for us to deliver those terrible, terrible messages to family that they've lost lives, and it's actually traumatic for the entire community. We have lost to date this year 271 lives, 9 more than last year. And coming into the Christmas period, we know with more people on the road that the risk is higher again. So today is really sending a message that you need to behave on the roads, you need to do the right things. It is illegal, but hooning is also destructive. The message is very, very clear that if you cut it up on the roads, we will cut it up, or QFES will cut it up for us. And if you go too far, you will lose your car. Can I sincerely thank the public? When you phone into PoliceLink and an offence is identified as hooning, you can actually upload your video into our systems, and we've received hundreds and thousands of those already, and they've been extraordinarily successful in assisting us in proving those offences. So thank you for being here for this very important event. But at the end of the day, this is all about safety for the community. Thank you.
Good morning. Every day across Queensland, firefighters respond to rescue people that are involved in road traffic crashes. In those situations, every second is vital. That's why it's so important that our firefighters are well trained and well equipped to provide their life-saving skills. That's why we welcome this announcement of this arrangement with Queensland Police, where we can get access to motor vehicles to practice our skills, because there's nothing like having firefighters practice their skills on real vehicles. So we welcome this announcement, and we ask people to please play it safe on the roads out there. We don't want to meet you at a road traffic crash.
Billy from the Firefighters Union.
G'day, Billy Goodwin from the United Firefighters Union. Look, this is a great result for firefighters and for the community. Road crash rescue is an important and vital part of the professional firefighters' skills, and to have a further opportunity to harness and consolidate our training is only going to benefit professional firefighters and the community at large. Thank you.
Any questions?
Very quickly, if you could also direct you to the Queensland Police Service Facebook page. We launched a program yesterday which shows Acts on Citizen. This is the ability for members of the community to upload footage, and you will see there 2 hoons that were caught in one event by a member of the public on mobile phone camera. Within 5 days, those people were called to account. We seized the vehicles, and those vehicles have been destroyed. That's on our QPS Facebook page. Do you have any questions, please? No. So the current anti-hooning legislation that we have is broad enough for what we need. Hooning occurs in three ways. One is opportunistic. We often see someone on their own, typically on a wet road, and they do something silly. That's not captured by this legislation, and we've got enough powers around that. It's the other two that worry us, and that's where people will gather in groups to show off in front of each other. That's where people get seriously hurt. And then the other one is one where they do everything they possibly can to avoid apprehension by police and by councils who are very heavily invested in this, and they post it on social media to show off. The laws that we have are the strongest in Australia. They're very good and they're very useful. In reality, we're pushing them underground. So people are seeing less hooning, we're seeing less hooning, there are fewer people participating in hooning, but the ones that remain are going to great lengths to avoid apprehension. And of course we're also very concerned, as we say every time we have these meetings, people think the rules don't apply on beaches. They do. And we see all the time people coming unstuck, trying to do donuts or fishtails on a beach, and they roll their car and people are hurt or killed.
Yeah, well, we've been tightening the laws since then, and we have the strongest child sex offender laws in the nation. But now's the right time to send a further message about lengthening those reporting and monitoring periods. So we now become the jurisdiction with the longest monitoring and reporting periods in the nation, as well as also having the toughest child sex offender laws in the nation. So over the last year, 8 years, we've doubled the number of child protection offender register coordinators. We've increased the reporting. We've given police more powers about inspecting devices and being able to access the premises of these offenders. We've been strengthening those laws that whole time, but now's the right time to send an even stronger message by lengthening the periods. Well, we wanted to step up our campaign against child sex offenders. If you're a pedophile, you're not welcome in Queensland, and these laws send a strong message to you. Well, we acted immediately to strengthen child sex offender laws, so increased powers for police, stronger penalties around child sex offending, and now's the right time to double the monitoring periods. Wanting to send a stronger message to pedophiles, you're not welcome in Queensland.
In legislation that you introduced yesterday, about enhancing, updating things and introducing and corrective services laws, talking about UK. One of the new offences is unlawful disclosure or recording of sensitive law enforcement information. What does that do, in terms of a whistleblower or someone leaking to the media? Is that a crime for them, or are they protected by whistleblowers?
Well, there's whistleblower protections which exist. This is about protecting people's privacy, and that applies in all sectors of government. So it's just reinforcing the messages around you do have to have a lawful reason to disclose personal information, and that lawful reason will be protected in this legislation.
Well, what's triggered that, or can you give us an example of how what would be protected against?
Yeah, well, the examples was in the speech yesterday. This is about more facilitating a lawful process for the sharing of information. So at the moment, the framework is not clear. It's not straightforward. So this authorises the sharing of information between corrective services and police, corrective services and Queensland Health, and corrective services and other corrective services agencies around Australia and into New Zealand. So this is about more formalising that lawful process.
The ABC is running a story about the health minister and the fact that a local car dealer was used as a vaccine card, which seems to be a constituent that the minister has a close relationship with. Does the minister have some questions to answer there?
Yeah. I hope you're not offended by this, but I haven't seen that story yet. I don't have information about that story, but I have been told the Health Minister will address it later on.
She continues to have your full support of government.
Well, I've mentioned before that Yvette D'Arth is a great Health Minister. She's delivering for Queensland Health. She's record budgets for operations, record budgets for capital. It's a tough portfolio, but she's been doing a good job. Yeah. Look, I hope you appreciate that I don't want to get into specifics around the case because it's before the courts and we don't want to preempt a decision of the courts. But I will say this. The Queensland Police Service and partner agencies compiled a very, very good brief of evidence that was required to get approval for the extradition process in the first place. So they've been working very hard. I commend the Queensland Police Service for that. And I'm hopeful that the Indian court process is as expeditious as possible because of that very good brief of evidence.
Thanks. Yes, so we've been working with the Indian Police for a considerable amount of time at the moment, and there is an excellent briefing place, and the relationship has been extraordinarily strong. So there's been a lot of work behind the scenes for an extended period already. So I have great confidence that the extradition process will go very, very well into the future. And the reason why, and I'll just touch on it in a little bit more depth, is the amount of work that has been taken on behind the scenes over an extended period has been extraordinarily comprehensive amongst our partner agencies, including the Indian Police. I am very, very pleased where it's at the moment.
Sorry, this has been already asked in a way from students, but what happens with the reward money? Like, when does that get?
So what happens now is we do a lot of inquiries and investigations as to how the information come in. There is now a process as to whether people can access the reward money. So it is a very, very formal process we'll go through. And as I said, certainly if the information came through within the criteria that was given out in that reward, I think government and myself will be very, very happy, that it goes to the right people. Thanks, everyone.
Very good. Okay. We'll get underway.